You were saying how
Well, originally, Deborah Hill called me,
okay,
and I was under contract with Warner Brothers,
okay,
and we were working downtown Los Angeles, slinging cop cars and all that stuff. And I said I didn't know I could get off. Well, anyway, they wrapped us early because they had to move to another location with the actors. So I was released, so I went over to Hollywood on Orange Grove Avenue. And I knew Deborah Hill real well because we worked on many shows before that. And Dean Cunny, the cameraman, and this whole crew, they were great, independent group. And Don Behrens, who was the production manager, we were very close friends. So everybody knew me except John. So it was the first night I met John.
okay.
And then I met Tommy, and Tommy actually was the production designer, the prop guy, Michael Myers, editor. He was all-around cowboy. He to me was one of the most important people on the show.
Absolutely.
I came in and worked with him all night long, and I did the fall, and I went back to work at Warner Brothers.
So it was just one night?
One night.
In and out?
Yeah.
Did you just, how many times did you have to do it?
One time.
Just one time?
I rigged it to
Just
where...
rigged it up?
Well, see, the balcony railing was higher than the normal balcony because the lady grandchildren or whatever,
Oh, okay.
they didn't want it was too low, so they
Safety.
built it up.
Oh, okay.
Now, even the roof, at the edge of the roof, if you measure it down to the level of the balcony, was 18 inches. So I had to go through 18 inches without hitting my head with the mat, my knee. And John asked me to keep in the function of the character of Michael Myers. Just don't flip all over and all that stuff.
Right.
So we worked it out. I did some pickup shots, and then I did this, and I went over and hit the mat, and everything was great. One shot, and so Dean went upstairs, re-rigged the camera, and shot me laying on the ground. And then we had to move because they had a curfew, a 10 o'clock curfew on filming up there.
Oh, okay.
So you had to move all the cars off the street, all the trucks, all the whatever. And we had to be inside, and they had to dim the lights because they couldn't shoot with bright lights because of the moratorium they had.
Oh, okay.
So we went inside, and I followed John to whatever scenes they were doing. I did some pickup shots for him, but mainly the big night was him in the closet
Oh, yeah.
scene, and then they wrapped me, and I went back to Warner Brothers.
Wow.
So I was there only one night.
Wow. And now, 40 years later, can you believe that all this is going on after that one night?
Well, it's hard for me to believe $300,000 film, $300,000 promotion picture of that caliber, horror especially, at that time, would outline, outlive, outdo everything on shows I worked all over the world with 40 million, 120 million, and nobody can't even remember them.
Right.
And with major actors in it, which I doubled. And I worked all over the world, and people have come to China and Germany and said, "Are you Winburn and Michael Myers?" And all that. And I said, "Yeah." And so it was worldwide.
Yeah.
For all the years. So 40 years has gone by, and it's still a very successful franchise.
Yeah.
And, and Deborah Hill was a very close, dear friend of mine. And I talked to her a few months before she passed away.
Really?
And she didn't tell me how sick she was.
Yeah.
And but I've known her almost basically when she came in town looking for a job. And she started working independent as an AD or script girl or whatever on some independent shows, and then she worked. We did about 5, 6, 7 low-budget films.
Okay.
Dean Cunny was the DP on it, so we were all doing pretty good because they were a solid group of filmmakers.
Yeah.
And John really got the best guy in the world because Dean Cunny went to Panasonic and got the latest cameras free because they wanted to show that camera, and Dean did.
Yeah, he showed it off.
And Dean is probably one of the best camera DPs in the business today, worldwide.
Yeah.
And Ray Stella, his operator, has been with him all these years. And I mean, I had no remorse or anything working with these guys because they were professional more than some of the IA guys.
Right.
And that worked at the studio. They all jumped in. It was a small crew. They all jumped in. And as I said, Tommy Lee Wallace was the big pivot all-around cowboy of that show.
Yeah.
And then Dink Honey and John Carpenter, his idea of what he wanted. And that's what, you know, and Deborah Hill, her philosophy of filmmaking. And the tragic of it all, real quick, was that when it opened on Halloween, it bombed.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody went and saw it for whatever reason. So they put it on the shelf, and I was in New York working with Chevy Chase, and Deborah was a little upset. I think Carpenter was doing the Elvis Presley ABC two episodes with Kurt Russell, and she told John, I think that's what she told me, that the show wasn't doing well, and they pulled it off the market. Well, anyway, there was two DJI radio guys in New York that went off Broadway and saw it in a low theater, and they loved it, so they PR'd the hell out of that show on the radio, and it went, so they reissued it the second time, and it was a great success, and on the first night open for an independent show, over $30 million.
Unbelievable.
And then it's history from then on.
Unbelievable.
And I have to tell you honestly, they did a screening at the Directors Guild for the cast and crew. I got there late because I was working at Warner Bros. And the only thing I saw was just before I did the fall. I didn't get to see the film.
Oh.
I've never seen any of the films.
Still?
None of the franchise region. Ron Zombie called me basically and wanted me to come to their opening at Grum the Chinese. And I met Tyler Mann, who was Michael Myers. Great guy, good personality. And Ron and I went out on Hollywood Boulevard. There was thousands of people, and they broke through the line to surround us, and Ron took off, and I stood out there, and the cops said, come on, you gotta go. And I said, oh, you want to just take photos. They ain't gonna hurt you.
Yeah.
And then we were out there doing that, and they came and got me and said they're starting the show. And so we went in, they finished the pre-stuff. I was sitting next to the wall on the right side of the screen, and they started the movie. I only saw the first 15 minutes, but when Ron Zombie got to the part where Michael Myers was killing the guard, it went on for 5 minutes because they were selling Ron Zombie's music. I got up and walked out. And I went outside and was talking to the producers and all the people. Then I went home, and they asked me why I'm leaving. I said, well, I have to go to work the next day. I really didn't because it was the weekend. I just wanted to get out of there. And but I was under the franchise. It is what it is on the horror faction, but the people loved it. And Ron Zombie, I made a thing to Ron Zombie before I left. I said, your show makes Michael Myers #1 a wimp.
Right.
But if you look at what John Carpenter did, he was an alpha his company. And he likes the mysteries and the suspense and all that stuff. And that's what he put in the film, what makes it a great success, with the young girls and all that stuff.
Absolutely.
It was the first young girls that ever did a TA in a low budget horror movie.
That's it.
That major. But if you look at it, that was the success of what John, Ideal, and Deborah was amazing.
Awesome.
I was just a tool.
Well, you were awesome in it. You were awesome in it. Thank you so much.